So we can start. Hello everyone again. My name is Anahit and I graduated from UWCadriatic this year, so I belong to the class of 2020. I come from Armenia and I'm here today to talk to you about academic and social life at UWCadriatic and also the university admission process, how it generally looks like and what are the most likely opportunities that you might get as a UWC student when applying to universities or when graduating from UWCadriatic. Generally, make sure you're dropping any questions that you have regarding UWCadriatic or UWC under the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer all of your questions. So let's get started. Starting talking about what UWC itself is, it's important to understand what its mission actually is. So shortly about what United World Colleges is, it's a movement that tries to use education as a force to unite people for a more sustainable and peaceful future. There are 18 UWC colleges all around the world, and UWCadriatic is one of those, and it is located in Duino, Italy. And it brings together students from over 90 countries. And it's very important that we all realize that even though the admission process is different depending on the country from which you're applying to UWC, the values and the principles based on which you're being selected are mainly the same, because they are looking for change makers, they're looking for people who are ready to challenge themselves, they're looking for people who are willing to educate themselves, to live in a culturally diverse environment, and just to become a change maker for a better future. So talking about the academic life, I will be answering your questions. So again, make sure you're dropping your questions in the comment section. I'll be doing my best to catch up with all your questions and also talk about the whole thing that I would like you to know as upcoming UWCers or just as people who are interested in UWC. So academic life at UWC. It is important to know that any student becoming a UWCer will be required to undertake a 2-year international baccalaureate diploma program, which comes up with 6 different groups of subjects. So the groups, I will just shortly go over the groups and what they are, and how you might choose some subjects from them if you are in UWCadriatic. So the courses are, basically the first group is studies in language and literature, in which you are most likely to take the language that is your native, or take the language that is that you are the most fluent in. So in my case, this was Armenian. I took Armenian A, and there are 3 ways in which you can do these languages. So if your language is being taught in your college, like in UWCadriatic, Italian, Arabic, Russian, and English are being taught. So you can take this as one of your IB as one of your school subjects. If your language is being tutored in the college that you are in, again, you will have classes of this language. So in our college, it was German, Bosnian, and Slovene. This is all, if I'm not mistaken. And then there is the self-taught language group, which is basically you doing self-taught studies for yourself, in your literature and in your language. So this is what I did, because of course it doesn't make sense to just teach a language to just like having 1 or 2 students from a generation. So self-taught is basically the option that you go for in that case. So yeah, the second group is where you can choose to study the language that you have some background in, which however is not your native language, or you might choose to do a new language not having any background in this at all. So this is basically the case for most of us in UWCadriatic, because our college comes up with its very unique a requirement of having Italian as a compulsory subject, meaning that if you are a UWCadriatic student, you will be taking Italian either as a part of your IB or as a certificate subject. So I took Italian as a certificate subject, meaning that it was my 7th subject in the IB, but I'm super happy to have the chance to learn it, because believe it or not, it is really, really exceptional to get the chance to learn the language and to live in the environment of the language and to live in the culture of the country. So if you get that opportunity, make sure you're not missing it. There are 3 different levels of Italian being offered in UWCadriatic. So there is a complete beginner level, there is standard level, and there is the higher level course. You may decide to take the standard or even higher level, even if you don't have any background in Italian, because our teachers will be there to support you and to guide you throughout the whole time you're doing the language, so that you actually manage to learn it and you actually manage the IB requirements. I'll just try to also come up with some answer to some questions that you guys are asking. What about other UWC schools? For example, Robert Bosch, do they take German? So from what I'm aware, they do have German offered in UWC Robert Bosch, but of course, I'm not as aware of UWC Robert Bosch subjects and everything as I am about UWCadriatic. Yeah, again, you will have this second group's languages, yeah, in every school. So you'll have some options what language you want to study. So in UWCadriatic, there is also the choice of doing English as your second language, like I did. So I did English B because I was doing Armenian A, and of course you are required to take English either as your first or as your second language. So I did 2 subjects from group 2, and then there is the third group, which is called individuals and societies. It is basically where all the humanities are being placed. So in UWCadriatic you have options like philosophy, economics, history, global politics, world arts and cultures, environmental systems and societies. Yeah, I think this is it from group 3. So you may just choose either 1 or 2 of the subjects. I'll talk about choosing 1 or 2 subjects from one group more particularly soon. So I did philosophy and economics both in higher level from this group, and this is actually my favorite group because I really enjoyed this. So one important thing, world arts and cultures is a subject that was funded in Duino in UWCadriatic, which is a very unique thing because as it is known to the whole world, Italy is famous with its history and culture, and there is a lot to see, to explore in that country. So world arts and culture enables you not only to get to know many cultures in their very depth, but it also enables you to travel all around Italy and to visit such beautiful places such as museums, art centers, chapels, churches, or famous places. So world arts and culture students are really having this very beautiful experience. I didn't take a WAC, but many of my friends did, and they were really thrilled with the experience that they were having. And this is also a subject that only 4 IB schools are doing, so if you get into UWCadriatic, just think of doing this. Are the dorms mixed, or boys have rooms and girls have rooms? So in UWCadriatic we have 7 different residences, and almost all of the residences are both for boys and girls. However, we do have residences which are only male or female. This is of course based on how many male or female students we have based on every year. So this is a subject to change from year to year. But our residences are mainly comprised of both rooms for boys and for girls, and we have same gender people in every room. Please tell me events in UWC. Oh, there are a lot of events going on in UWC. I will just go through the event stuff very quickly after I'm done with the academic life. So going to the 4th group, we may talk about the sciences, which is what is offered in this group. So chemistry, biology, physics, and again, environmental systems and societies. As you may have noticed, I mentioned this subject twice because ESS is offered both in the 3rd group and the 4th group, so you may choose to do it if you are a very humanity person or if you are a very science person. I did ESS as my science. and we have beautiful labs, and we are located in such a place that you can have very unique practical works for your science subject. So make sure you are using this chance if you get into UWCadriatic at some point. The fifth group is the math group. This is where the 3 different levels of mathematics are being offered. The applied mathematics, which is the most basic one, and then math SL, and then higher level of math. I personally did math standard level, which was a pretty nice experience because you do get to explore lots of challenging math, but you also get time for other subjects, and especially if you're doing 7 subjects, it's become time management becomes even more important. So it is very important to take into consideration all these factors when you are doing your subject choices. Do I need to bring a laptop, or the school provides it for us? The school does have computers to provide to the students who are in a very essential need of it. However, you are encouraged to bring your own laptops, and if you have one. So yeah, this is probably the answer of that question. Going to the last group of the IB curriculum, which is the arts, it is important to notice that UWCadriatic is very specific from this point, because we're known as a very music and arts school in a way, because we're offering visual arts from group 6. We have a very cool art center, and again, art students too, as SWAC students, are having different trips to different Italian cities. So if you're interested in arts, you may definitely go for it. But there is also this thing that in case you're not that an art person, or in case you are but you would prefer to do another subject excuse me, in case you would prefer to do another subject instead of arts, you may choose to not take any subject from group 6, but instead you may choose to take a subject from any of other groups, from group 2 to group 4. From group 1 to group 4. So this is what I did, and I ended up doing 2 subjects from group 3, which is individuals and societies. As I mentioned, I did philosophy and economics, both in higher level, and I also did 2 subjects from languages. The second group, I did both English and Italian, but as I said, Italian is going to come to me as a certificate subject. And the grade is not going to be in my diploma, but if you're doing well in Italian, it is a very big plus, because you may just choose to include your Italian grade or certificate in your CV in the future, or it might be also advantage when you're applying to some universities, or if you want to study linguistics. So make sure you are taking into consideration your future plans, or your hobbies, or your interests when you are doing the subject choice. Some questions here. What opportunities gives IB diploma for applying to university? So I was going to talk about the university admission process and how much being a UWCer helps you in that. So what I would say is that what makes you a strong candidate for many universities, and is not only the IB but the UWC itself, because when they see that you are UWCer and applying to the universities, they do know about the international experience that you've been having over the past 2 years. They do know the cultural diversity you've been living in. They do know that you have a different cultural background, and you have the experience of living and studying with people from all over the world. They do know that you have been undertaking the IB, which is a very rigorous and challenging academic program. So all these things together give universities a very clear overview of how competitive candidate you might be as a UWCer, as many of the universities are having a holistic overview of your applications, meaning that not only they look at what are your grades, or what have you been getting for your exams, they also take a look at your recommendation letters, they take a look at the experience that you've been having, your community services, your work experiences, your internships. So all this comes up with a big holistic view, and they do care a lot about you being a UWCer. Why did you choose UWCadriatic? This is a great question, actually. So, again, as I said, the admission process varies from country to country. So, depending on your national committee, the selection process is going to be different in your country from how it's going to look like in other countries. And for us, we had a three-stage selection process, and in one of the stages, we were asked to rank the colleges based on which college we want to go, like based on our desire. So UWCadriatic was actually my first choice, and I was super, super excited to get it in the end. I chose it firstly because I found that community service component, which is very important in UWCadriatic, would be a very great chance for me to implement all the volunteering skills that I had before going to UWC. And also, the location of UWCadriatic was very close to my heart, as I was very interested in Italian culture, Italian language, and also UWCadriatic itself. It's a great place, and believe it or not, it can really give you opportunities you have no clue about. And I'm more than pleased with it, and I'm always saying that if I had the chance to choose my college again, it would have definitely been UWCadriatic, no doubt. Do you think takes a 2HL science subject is tough? Okay, so I haven't taken 2HL sciences, but I have had friends who have been doing so. In case you are really interested in sciences, or this doesn't only apply to sciences, this applies to all the subjects that you are looking forward to choosing. In case you are interested in the field, and in case you are seeing yourself and exploring this field, it can be tough, but you can also manage it. I do know that there were lots of people in our college taking chem and bio together, or chem and physics, which would get challenging at some points because you have to do all these practical works from all the sciences, and mainly the assignments are being assigned at the same time, or at least in the close periods of time. But they were managing because they were very interested in sciences, and science was what they were really good at. So if you really like it, go for it for sure. Is it hard to take English as your first language while you're non-native? I took English B, but I would say that my English improved a lot since I started my UWC experience, meaning that if you want to take English A to improve your English and to have a more tough English course, you don't necessarily have to do so, because I assure you will improve your English over the whole IB and UWC because you are doing everything in English. Hard, it might get hard at some point, but again, if you're a very language person, it might also be very enjoyable. But what I would say is that English A requirements are pretty different from English B requirements. So what you're doing in English A, or generally in any language A, you are exploring the literature, or if it's a Langenlied course, you're exploring the whole language and the construction of verbs and other things, which can get very challenging. It might get also challenging even for the native speakers. So you want to make sure you have a very good base in English if you are planning to take it. But there are tests that are being done in the college. So there are lots of students who are actually willing to take English A, knowing that they'll also have to take Italian, and some of them just don't want to have 7 subjects because it can get very overwhelming at some points. I was among one of them. I really wanted to take English A, but then I was so happy I took English B. You're having the interview, and the teachers, while talking to you, they are advising you which would be the better choice for you. So what my advisor said to me was that you have a very nice language, and there is a very good literature you can base your self-taught studies on. So if you can do the Armenian, and she asked me, are you good at Armenian? Do you like Armenian as a language? I was like, well, I adore it. I really like it. And she was like, well, then just take Armenian and enjoy doing your language, and actually you'll be missing your language a lot. Just take the chance and do it. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was so happy with it, because English B is sometimes even more interesting if you're not a native speaker. You're doing some grammar, you're watching some movies, you're playing some games, you are getting to know the text types, and this can get very, very interesting. So it really depends on what you want to do, but it can get tough. It also depends on what level of English are you taking. Can I keep in touch with my family and friends? Sure. You can video call them. You can text them whenever. In UWC, everything is up to you. You need to be well organized and to try your best to manage your time as much as you can, because there is going to be a lot going on. Besides the IB, there's also the social life, the UWC events, the cultural events that you would be very eager to take part in. So I was keeping in touch with my family during the whole time I was in UWC. I would talk to my family every day. I would video call with my family every day, also with my friends. So yeah, it is absolutely doable. What about tuition? Is there huge scholarships or not? So UWCadriatic is very well known for its scholarships. It is giving scholarships to most of its students, and there are many students who are not able to afford their studies in UWC at all because it's very expensive, and UWCadriatic does fund them and does give them the scholarships to do their studies. I personally was studying on a scholarship, and I wouldn't be able to conduct my studies without the scholarship that I received from the college. So it is, yeah, the tuition is big, but UWCadriatic does have scholarship programs, and you will be filling in the financial aid documents cooperating with your national committee. So the whole process will be carried out between you and national committee, and then later on also the college, and you'll be able to of course get the financial aid that you're looking for. Have you had friends that took GLOPO? What did they think about it? How are the MUN sessions? Oh, this is a very great question. We do have so many students taking GLOPO at UWCadriatic. There was a very big competition, so big that even this year the students had to complete a test so that only the ones who were really competitive could get, because there's a limited number for every subject, and this year the GLOPO students, like people willing to do GLOPO, were really a lot. I do have friends who were taking it and they really enjoyed it. We have GLOPO being offered in SL, and our GLOPO teacher also teaches philosophy, so there are very interesting and nice parallels being done during the sessions. The MUN sessions are also very interesting. I got to participate in we all got to participate in one MUN session. You take part in MUN session sometime in March during your first year, and MUN is actually a creative activity. It's a part of CAS, which again is a component of the IB, and we have a very strong MUN team in our college which had organized all this event in a very beautiful way, and we really enjoyed representing different countries, and 2 days full of these discussions, negotiations, and it really gave a very nice experience. And then you are getting certificates and you're getting honors, and it's very enjoyable. How does everyone cope with changing their education to English? This is a great question. I had to cope with it as well because I'd never experienced an education in English. It can get challenging because well, you are changing to a completely new language, but it is completely normal, and you should always understand this, and you should not force yourself that much. You will see your progress, you will notice it from time to time, and you'll be very happy and proud with it, because you are living in the community. Not only you are changing your education from your mother language to English, but you are also living in that environment with your friends and with all the people, and it is really doable, believe me, and you should not be scared of applying to UWC even if you don't feel like you are very confident in English. We have this course that is being offered to all the students who who would like to improve their English during the before starting the academic year. So this course is being conducted before, as I said, before the academic year. So some volunteers from second year students and from alumni are there to welcome the first year students who do need some English courses before starting the actual UWC experience. And this is really helpful. I personally did not participate in this course, but from my friends, from what I have heard of my friends who have participated, they were very happy with it and it was very useful for them. So don't worry about this. It can get challenging, but it all depends on how hardworking you are and how you motivate yourself to do so. Are there dance classes or a club? We do have dance. We actually have several dances. We have hip hop as a part of offered as a part of CAST. It is an action part, and we also do have cultural shows during which we are dancing dances from all over the world. I choreographed Armenian dances for several times during my time at college. You may sign up for any dance that you are interested in, any dance that you might have never danced in your life and never imagined. I did Bollywood for several times. I would have never imagined I would do Bollywood any time in my life before coming to UWC. So yeah, dance is a very important part of UWC life, and especially UWCadriatic cultural life, I would say. How are the school facilities? How are the residences? This is what makes UWCadriatic even more unique and special, the residential life, because we are not a closed campus as many other schools might be, meaning that we do have residences all over Duino, which is the place that we're living in. So we actually get to interact with people from the village, and we get to feel that we are living in a place, not in a closed campus. Our residences are spread all over the village, and they are all unique in their own ways. And I wouldn't say, well, this one is better than this one is worse than this one. All the residences are very different, and everyone finds something very beautiful and very positive in their residence, regardless of how different locations they have and how far close they might be from Mensa, which is the cafeteria, or from the school building or whatever. We have great facilities, we have great labs, we have a great art center, which is a beautiful place not only to just for not only for art students, but also for the people who just want to spend time in the art center. We have a great music school, and this is one of the most important characteristics of UWCadriatic, because we are cooperating with the International Music School, ICMA, and we're organizing concerts every term, and I am also participating in this contest as I have solo singing as my creative activity, and it is very nice to participate in these concerts. And even if you don't participate, just go to the concert and admire how people are putting their effort to make your evening the best. We have an Adriatic band, which is a social service, so students would play during the concerts and also during some charity events over the whole year, and this is very, very interesting process overall. I'm trying to catch up with your questions. I answered this one. Is it difficult to live with people you completely don't know? I wouldn't say difficult, I would say challenging, because everything that you haven't tried ever is challenging as you have no background about it, but once you are in it, it gets so much better. Well, I had roommates from 4 countries over the 2 years that I was in UWC, and I would say that there are always ways to find common grounds with your roommates, and there are always some things that you might agree or might disagree about, but UWC is unique in the way that you can always talk about anything that concerns you. You can always talk about anything that you feel you need to talk about. You can always raise your voice, and you can always discuss, and they will hear you and you will hear them, because that's the UWC culture that comes. It is challenging at the beginning, but it becomes very enjoyable, and it becomes a very nice experience in the end. So I'm impressed by your presentation. Greetings. Thank you very much. Thank you, Franatrian. Does it have music clubs like violin? Yes, we do. As I said, we are cooperating with ICMA, and we also have tutors who are coming to teach already advanced instrument players like violin or piano. But we also have classes for the complete beginners. So if you would like to start learning piano, you can definitely go for it. I'm a bit confused between UWC and Pearson College. Pearson College is the UWC college in Canada. As I said, there are 18 different UWC colleges all over the world, and UWCadriatic is located in Duino, Italy, and UWC Pearson is located in Canada. Oh, someone answered your question? Okay, great. Thank you. Do you have computer science in UWCadriatic? We don't have it as subject that is being offered. But we do. Our sciences are chemistry, physics, biology, and environmental systems and societies, as I mentioned earlier. How do you find the IB? This is a very interesting question, actually. IB is challenging. No reason to lie about that. You'll get to know it when you start doing it. It is challenging, but it all depends on you. You are the one developing your IB. It can get very dramatic if you leave everything in the last moment, and if you just panic all the time. It can be pretty doable if you manage your time, and if you realize that everything that you're getting are challenges that need to be overcome. For me, it was a very nice experience. I learned a lot from the IB. I explored fields that I'd never explored earlier. I did philosophy, which I'd never done in Armenia. I did economics, which I'd never done in Armenia, and it's developed my very big willingness to do economics in the university later, which I'll be starting this year. I learned a new language from completely not having a background. I took Italian standard level with no background in Italian, and I ended up really, really learning and loving the language, which is a very big accomplishment. So IB can give you a lot, but you also need to be responsible with it. You need to take it seriously, and you're the one managing it. It's not the one managing you. You're the one managing it. Can you study in the classrooms after teaching hours? How is the library? Yes, you can study in the classrooms. The school building is open there for you anytime. The library is my favorite place to study in our college. It is beautiful. It's a very beautiful place to study, and the atmosphere there is very just inspiring to study. We have very nice coaches, so you might sometimes also fall asleep, but you just can sit in front of the desks and concentrate on the work that you have to do. It's a very nice place, and yeah. When does the term start and end? So the fall term starts at the end of August, and it ends in mid-December, and then the spring term starts the beginning of January, and it ends at the end of May. So you get your winter break from mid-December to the beginning of January, and you get your summer break from end of May to end of August. Do you apply for Adriatic or for all UWC colleges in the As I mentioned, the application admission process varies from country to country, and it depends on your national committee on how you can apply to certain colleges. I applied for UWC, I applied for the program, and that's how you apply in Armenia. You cannot be like, hello, I want to go to this UWC college, and if you don't offer me this, then I don't want to. No, this is not how it works. So you basically apply for UWC, and you have the option to choose to rank the colleges based on which one you want to go the most. UWCadriatic was my first choice, so I got my first choice, but there were also many couriers of mine who got their third, second, 9th, 10th, even 14th choices, so it depends on the national committees for which you're applying. What extracurricular activities have you done before applying to UWC? Okay, so before applying, I have graduated from a music school. I've been playing the piano. I've been doing lots of volunteering. I've been teaching English to the kids in my hometown. I've been also participating in charity events. I have been doing journalism for a while. I have been writing. I've been doing creative writing, I think for a year before applying to UWC. And yes, this is actually a great question, because yes, when applying to UWC, I believe that it is mainly, the principle is mainly the same for most of the countries and national committees. They are looking for people who are doing many community services, who are active in volunteering, who are really big members of their community. So it doesn't mean that you have to come from a community in which a lot of events are happening and you are in all of them. You might come from a very small town, which is my case. I come from small city of Armenia, but you might still do big things in your small city, and you might still achieve a lot in your small city. Could you talk a bit about the uni application process? Sure. I will be talking about it very shortly, just making sure I am done with all the UWC experience questions, and we'll shift to university. Just stay with us. Does UWC care a lot for high grades? So based on my national committee's application process and everything, it is good and great if you have high grades in school, but that's not the only thing that they care about when they're choosing you. If you have not done any volunteering, if you're not interested in anything else in schools, if you're not a person to challenge yourself, and if you don't have this UWC values, which is personal challenge, intercultural understanding, and mutual respect, and this kind of things, your high grades wouldn't necessarily make you a stronger candidate. This is at least what I'm saying from my experience. I did have high grades, but I also did have all this volunteering experience and this extracurricular stuff. What is the most cultural shock in UWC? Well, it depends from a person. Well, the fact that if you have never experienced an international environment, the fact that everyone is coming from a different country would be shocking itself. But also, for me, the cultural shock was mainly in not having the Armenia that I used to have for my whole life before going to Italy. I wasn't used to not living in Armenia, because I've been living my whole life in Armenia before UWC. But this is definitely something you will overcome, because that's where the personal challenge and that's where the intercultural understanding come to help you. And yeah. Where are you from? Did you know English before arriving to school? I am from Armenia. I did know English before UWC because we were doing English at school, but it is definitely not enough. You cannot be good at English just by having it at school in here. So yeah, I did know English, but I really improved my English in UWC a lot. Are there any internship opportunities offered? In UWC, no. We are doing community services as part of our CAS, which means that we are going to these places in Monfalcone, which is a town nearby, or Trieste, which is a city nearby, or we're staying in Duino, and we're doing these community services for the community that we're living in, and this is absolutely beautiful, because this is one of the most meaningful and remarkable parts of UWC experience itself. How was Project Week? Project Week was great. Thank you for this question. Project Week was really great, and Project Week is a very component part of UWC experience. So what you do during the Project Week, you go with your group of students to some place, which might be a different city, a different country, which might be a forest, might be a village. You make your project, you organize one, or you sign up for one that has been organized by your peers, and you go there for a week and you work with people, or you plant trees, or you do physical activity, you do anything, you enjoy your project, and you get a very nice experience. So what I did was you sign up for project weeks, and if you're not an organizer, you get assigned to a certain project week. I was fortunate and I went to Austria, to Graz, with a group of beautiful people from my generation and from my second years. We worked together with teens from Graz, from bilingual school, and it was a very nice experience because we got to talk about trust building, leadership, and everything that was so UWC-ish. We made really nice bonds and friendships with them. And it was very, very remarkable experience for me and for all of us, I'm sure. We also got to see Graz, the city, and also we visited Vienna, which was beautiful, really beautiful. So yeah, the project week was a very, very heartwarming part of my whole UWC experience. And this is what most of my friends would also share, because to mention the potential directions for our UWCadriatic project weeks, we had project weeks to Vienna, Austria last year, a couple actually. We had one to Romania, we had one to Rome, we had two to Rome. We had project weeks to Croatia, to Slovenia, to France. So just using the fact that Italy and UWCadriatic is in a very nice location to travel around, we've come up with some very nice, my friends have come up with some very nice project week initiatives and have used their time in a beautiful way to work and to experience and to explore. Can you get in without excellent diploma from your previous school? Again, this depends on the requirements of your national committee, but I believe in most of the cases you can, because again, the excellent diploma isn't what they're looking for. They're looking for a person ready to challenge themselves, a person accepting intercultural understanding, a person ready for all the academic and social challenges and everything else. So make sure you have this experience as the key factor instead of focusing that much on your grades or on your diploma and your high school. But also do keep your grades good if you can, because it's always nice to have good grades. How does everyone get along with the native English speakers? Very easily, because UWC is the place you don't get the discrimination from any aspect. Meaning, of course, native English speakers know English better than most of the non-natives do, but it never makes you feel like, oh, well, I know less, I better not talk. No, that's not the case. My roommate for my second year was from India, and also she's one of my best friends. And she's a native speaker, and it has been a total pleasure to live with her and to be friend with her. It is a total pleasure to be a friend with her. And even though I'm from Armenia and English is my third language, and she's from India and English is her technically first language, it's a great friendship. So you get along with them definitely in UWC. Do you need to know Italian for the service part of CAS, spending time with elderly? This is a great question. For some social services, you are encouraged to, but the good thing is you are going to social services with other students with you, meaning that you're not the only one conducting the whole session. So even if you don't know Italian, you might still be a part of it. Yes, there are some social services for which it is better to know Italian, but again, it's not a compulsory thing for most of the services and CAS activities. For example, my social service was called Talk Talk, so we would go to Monfalcone and we would teach English to Italians of different age and occupation, and it was such a nice experience because not only we got to teach them English, but also we got to learn a lot of Italian from them, and that was such a nice way of improving our Italian and also doing our social service. I'm from Graz. Oh, greetings. Nice, very nice. Do you write final IB exams from your self-taught language A? Yes, you do. It's the requirements for self-taught language A are very much like the requirements for all other language A's. The difference is, of course, based on your own language's features. You do write 2 papers because self-taughts are offered in SL, so you are writing 2 papers and you're also doing your oral presentation in your native language. You're doing your written assignment, which from what I know has been eliminated from this year's IB curriculum, but on our year we did the written assignment from our language. So yes, you do work on your self-taught the way that the others are working on their language A's. The difference is you're the one conducting your whole work, and you might ask for advice to your teachers back home if you have some people who you feel like you can trust. How does my roommate get picked? So Interesting. So during your first year, you're being assigned to a room and to roommates, so you cannot choose because mostly you don't really know the people. So you're being assigned to roommates or a roommate and a residence. From what I know, they are just looking for placing people in as diverse manners as possible, meaning that from countries that you might have never heard of, so that the diversity factor works even stronger and better in this case. So I had 3 roommates when I was a first year, and then when you are already in your second year, you get the chance to choose your roommates and to choose also your residence. But you're not 100% guaranteed that you will get the residence that you are choosing or the roommate that you're choosing. So during my second year, I got the roommate that I chose, and also my roommate chose me. So we got each other as roommates, but we didn't get the residence that we were choosing, which was totally fine. We were still happy in our residence. So just to let you know how the process itself works. Yeah, I hope I haven't missed any question. Okay, so now, as I promised, I'll be talking about the university application process and everything that relates to university. So as I said, I graduated from UWCadriatic this year, which means I applied for university during my second year in UWCadriatic, and I got into some universities, and I chose to enroll to University of Richmond in the United States. So I'll be studying my education at University of Richmond this year. So what are the options for you when you are graduating? I just want to talk briefly about this. You don't necessarily have to apply for a university if you don't feel like this is what you want to do. Instead, you may choose to take a gap year, which is an option for many people. You might choose to travel during your gap year, to work during your gap year, to just stay in your home country during your gap year, whatever. There are also great gap year programs that will be offered to you, and you can choose to sign up for any of them. The second option is you may choose to apply for some universities, and you may also choose to go back to your home country and to work after UWC. So it's very flexible, and it's very up to you what you want to do. So I chose to apply for university, and I applied for some universities in the United States. So you are being guided over the whole process of applying to UWC by the UWCadriatic University counselors, and they are very supportive and very helpful in any question that you have regarding the universities. They are there to guide the whole application process, meaning that they're there to answer the questions that you might not be 100% sure about. They are also there to help you find the things that you are mostly and truly interested in. So what this particularly means is that many people are not 100% sure what they want to study in the university. You may just you have lots of chances to choose this during your UWC time. So first of all, at the end of your first year at UWCadriatic, several presentations are being done by the university office in order for you to realize the possible options that you will have as a UWC graduate. So this includes showing you the university opportunities in the US, in the UK, in Canada, in Italy, in other European countries, or all around the world, or also in your home country. So there are these presentations being conducted, and you may also ask any questions to the university officers, and this is when the official communication between you and the university office is being started, meaning that they're starting working for you to help you find the fields that you're mostly interested in, to help you find the best and the best options that would mostly match your interests in the fields of in the areas that you would like to pursue. So after this, at the end of your first year, you will already start your own individual research of the universities, meaning that based on your interests, based on the location that you are willing to study in and to live in, based on any other factors that mean something to you when applying to a university, you will start choosing the universities and you'll do your research. And this is a very start research, because this will really get eliminated and replanned during the whole course. So after you're back to the college for your second year, your very solid connection with university office will be started, meaning that you'll have these chats with university officers and counselors who will be there to discuss your options with you, who'll be there to discuss your research outcomes with you, and who'll be there to offer you some options in case you need some. So you'll definitely be guided during the whole process. Also, I was talking about UWC making you overall a very strong candidate, and a very competitive one. So this is very much displayed when different universities are coming to our college to represent their institution to you. So there are many universities that are coming during the fall when you are beginning your second year. They're coming to represent you, their universities. You may sign up to have interviews, individual interviews with them, or you may sign up to participate in their sessions. And this will be very helpful for you, because you will have a broader opinion of how the university stuff itself works. I signed up and participated to many university sessions because I wanted to be sure that I'm aware of as many things as is possible to conduct after my UWC studies. So it is very nice. You get to explore a lot, and then when you are already at the point of making the decision to which colleges and universities you want to apply, it is important that you can utilize all the information that you have been receiving over the whole research and the meetings with the university advisor and the presentations. It is important that you gather this information and you utilize this in the best in its best use for you, and that you can make the best decision for you. I was very happy with the university decisions that I made, meaning that I was very happy to apply to the unis that I applied, and I was even happier to get accepted to the unis that I got accepted. I will try to catch up with your questions, guys. Do you get pre-interviews for universities? This very much depends on what university you're applying to. So for many universities, when they are coming to have presentations with you, you may sign up for an interview, but this is not an interview that they're having with you to choose you or to not choose you. This is an interview that you are having with them and they are having with you, for you to get more information about who they are and what are they offering, meaning their academic programs, their admission process, and everything that might come up with them as an institution. So for some other universities, except from applying through the common application, which is the specific application that you are filling in to apply to the US universities, and there is the UCAS, which you are filling in to apply for UK universities, from what I'm aware. Some universities also require you to have individual interviews, and this is already something that you're arranging between you and the institution. Do you have computer science in UWC or any other subjects about computers and information security, for example? We don't offer computer science as a subject at UWCadriatic, but we have CAS, which is we have classes which include working with computers, teaching some computer skills to children. You can do coding. You can come up with your own CAS if you are willing to, and this can become a great opportunity. We actually had a choir who came up with coding lessons, and he was organizing this stuff, and it was a new thing, and it was pretty helpful for some students. So if you're very desired, you can do this. Which universities have come? So I will just mention the unis that I have attended the interviews, the presentations, which were pretty a lot. So University of Richmond, University of Oklahoma, University of College, Idaho College, if I'm not mistaken. There was St. Lawrence University has come, Whitman College, Wartburg College, Harvey-Mudd, New York, Abu Dhabi also, University of New York in Abu Dhabi, Case Western Reserve, Northwestern, if I'm not mistaken, Amherst College. This is probably what I would remember. I might remember more. Luther College also. Washington and Lee University. I think this is all I really remember. So yeah, and those were really informative. And George Washington University and University of British Columbia in Canada. Yeah, remembering stuff. So yeah, I applied to some of this, and I got accepted to my top choice, which was the University of Richmond again, which I would be studying starting this fall. So yeah, is it correct that you have to choose the subject based on what you're going to study in the university? This is a great question, and I'll be happy to answer this because many people are interested in this. This highly depends on where you are planning to apply. So I was also very concerned about this. So I went to the uni office when they were my first days in UWCadriatic. I haven't even started my academic year as a first year student, so I just went to the university office. I was like, hello, well, I am hesitating whether to take philosophy HL or math HL. I want to do economics in the university. What would you recommend me? And the university office was of course very supportive, and they handled me, but no one would be like, hey girl, this really isn't gonna be that decision making in future, so don't panic and don't worry that much. In reality, for most of the US universities, they would not specify what subjects they want you to be taking in the IB. Of course, this might be different for some universities, but most of them would not require you to take any certain subjects. Some of them would require you to take certain grades for your higher level subjects, but very few of them would go for requiring you to take certain subjects, while for some British universities, from what I'm aware, they might require certain subjects if you are planning to study certain fields. But this is some information you need to do research about, because I have applied only to the United States, and my background information about other like the UK universities is not that broad. How are the scholarship opportunities for the universities? So this again depends on the university itself. And this is why you are having this constant meetings with the university counselor, because the university office is really well aware and well informed of what are the unis that are offering the most scholarships to UWC students, which unis cooperate the best, what are the unis that accept most number of UWC students, and these are the questions that you can get the answers from the university office of UWCadriatic if you are a student. So again, as I said, being a UWCer is a very big advantage, and when you're applying to the US, you are obtaining the UWC Davis scholarship, which is a certain amount of money depending on what university you're applying. So this is some part of scholarship that is being given to you, and also many of the universities give you other scholarships, and this is very great opportunity, because I personally wouldn't be able to go and study in the US without receiving the scholarship that I'm receiving from my university. Did you take the SAT? Yes, I did. The SAT sessions are being conducted at college. Three times a year, twice during the fall term and once during the spring term. I took SATs only once. There are some US universities which will be really requiring SATs. Some colleges will be optional, some would not be requiring at all. Most of my colleges did require SATs. So yeah, I did take SATs. How I can prepare for applying to UWC. Again, there is not something that you need to do and to check it to make sure you are ready to apply to UWC. It is the intercultural understanding, the personal challenge, the mutual respect, and everything else that you need to take into consideration. And if you're ready for this, then you can definitely apply, and this would be appreciated. Okay, there are some other questions coming, but I think Instagram is limiting the time for the live session, so I'll just turn it off and we'll join back quickly. Okay, great. I think we're back. So yeah, I was talking about the university application process and the admission process. So yeah, again, what I would say is that everything, I was talking about whether there are any requirements for when applying to UWC, or whether you have to do or to have anything for applying to UWC. What you have to do, what you have to have is probably the personal values and the personal manners that UWC people do have, and that people are looking for in the potential UWCers, which are the opportunity, the ability to challenge yourself, the willingness to study other people's cultures, the intercultural understanding, the mutual respect, the desire to make the world a more sustainable and peaceful place, and yeah, things like this. So drop your questions if I missed any from the previous session, and make sure you're dropping any questions, any further questions that you have. Hello everyone, again. Yeah, this is mainly it about the university stuff as well. So if you are not sure about what university you want to study, or if you're not sure about the options that are being offered to you, this is totally fine, because you will get to explore first yourself a lot, and later you will also get to explore the opportunities that are being offered from different universities all over the world, and also the particular opportunities that are being offered to UWC students. Also, some people are very worried about the fact that they haven't decided what majors you want to do. This is totally fine, because you may, for some US universities, you don't even have to mention any major when you are applying, because you will have general education for the first 1 or 2 years, so it's totally fine. Don't worry about that one. It is at least important to make sure you are certain about where you want to study and when you want to study. How many students get accepted yearly from the number of applicants? So this is something that needs to be set from the national committees, because again, you're not applying to certain UWC college, you're applying to the UWC movement, and then you're being nominated for a certain UWC college, and then you are being offered a place at that UWC college. So you need to, if you talk about numbers, you need to know how many applicants have been there from that country that year, and how many of the applicants got into UWC colleges. So the number of students we would annually have, the average number we would annually have at UWCadriatic would be almost 90 or 100 new first year students. So the 2 generations at UWCadriatic would be, the number of 2 generations overall would be something like 200 from almost 90 countries of the world. What characters should have a person who is going to apply to UWC? Again, this is a very great... I love how you guys are asking this question in very different ways, but I really love the fact that you are disinterested in personal characteristics that you should have to become a UWCer. This is something probably that every UWCer would say, but the first and most important thing is to be truly yourself. You don't have to fake anything. You don't have to try to show some person that is not you, because what they are looking for is the you. They will be able to see whether it's you or not, and it is also honest to you, to yourself, and to the others to be the you that you are. Make sure you are being as honest as possible. Make sure you have some experience that makes you feel like you want to become a UWCer. This experience might be a community service. This experience might be personal challenge that you went through. This experience might be just the confidence that you are ready to apply to UWC. This doesn't have to be something in such a big magnitude. This might be something small, but might mean a lot to you. Personal characteristics are these ones, and of course challenge yourselves and respect the other cultures and the other countries. Be interested in the world generally. I heard that you can cook at UWC. Is that true? Yeah, it is true. But well, is this Fabian? Well, it is true. But there are some restrictions being assigned to certain UWC colleges, and this comes not from the college, but this comes from the country that the college is in. So, of course, if the country regulations are not allowing cooking and other stuff in the college has to adjust its facilities and everything accordingly to meet the regulations that are being imposed in the country. Thank you, Fabian. Do I need to be a leader for applying to UWC? this is an important characteristic that you should have, because UWCers are leaders, and it doesn't really have to, you don't really have to lead a group or a movement or something else. You just can be a leader yourself, meaning that you might lead yourself to achieve your goals, you might lead yourself to become a better person, you might lead yourself to do something great even all alone. But it's also important that you know the art of doing teamwork, of appreciating the group, of discussion, of negotiation, of critical thinking, of course, because this is very important segment of the UWC application process. You should look at the questions and the situations from different perspectives, because that's how the intercultural environment itself looks like. You are living with people from all over the globe, and something might look completely different to you and might look totally different to some other person from some other country and from some other cultural background. So this is where your discussion skills, your negotiation skills, your critical thinking skills, and your intercultural understanding skills will come to help you deal with whatever you have to deal. So yeah, these were the questions. I think we talked about the academic life in UWC. We also talked about the university opportunities that are being offered, and also the social life at UWC. If you do have any other questions, we'll have the last couple of minutes of our live session here, so make sure you're dropping any if you have. If you have any particular questions about UWCadriatic or UWC generally, or any questions to me, feel free to drop them. Meantime, I would just let you know that these live sessions, are going to be continuous for this period of time. We aim to let you be as informed about UWC Adriatic and UWC as a whole as much. So make sure you're following the Instagram page and the Facebook page of UWC Adriatic, and make sure you are catching up with all the announcements that we are posting there. So yeah, thank you all for joining. Okay, is the food good there? This is a very this is some question that people might answer differently. I personally liked the food in Mensa, in cafeteria, because I just liked it. It was diverse. You have options. You can choose from different food. You can also choose to eat vegetarian stuff if you are vegetarian. There are always options for vegans also. So there are some options. It also depends on your personal taste and personal choice. For me, I am not the type of person who would not get along with food. It's pretty easy for me to adjust to a new food environment, so Mensa was pretty okay for me. But you can also grab pizza from Tutidis, which is the place that we get very warm pizza and very fresh gelato ice cream from. And you also have other options to eat. But the college food itself it's pretty good, for me at least. Advice for first years. Okay. So enjoy UWC as much as possible. Even more than possible, because you will be missing it a lot. And make sure you are appreciating the opportunity of being a UWCer, because later on you'll realize that it truly was something to appreciate. Make sure you are taking the chance to participate everything that is going on. Make sure you are being an active person. Make sure you're talking to people, you're asking questions about their countries, their cultures. Make sure you're trying to find friends. Make sure you are living the UWC life. And doesn't matter what kind of person you are, make sure you're saving your personality in UWC, and in the meantime, you're exploring the new ways that people can be. Make sure you're loving the diversity, but you are staying a part of diversity and not becoming just something similar to the diversity, if you got what I mean. Stay you, because you've been selected as a UWC for all the characteristics that you have, but also make sure that you are recognizing and accepting and loving and respecting all the other types of personalities that you might encounter in your UWC experience. and enjoy the best 2 years of your life, probably. Again, thank you all for joining me today. It was a pleasure to have this live session with you. Our next session will be held by current students who have just become second years. So if you're first years, you might just meet your second years in this. So make sure to join us during our sessions and stay safe and healthy. And thanks a lot again for being here today. With lots of love. Ciao, ciao.